going to bake. So we're going to just make Viennese whirls. I'm only going to make half the quantity because half the quantity makes 6, and they actually only take about 10 minutes to make, so I quite often, you know, I'll make 6 and then a couple of days later just make another 6. The recipe will go up for 12, so that's up to you. So to start with, 125 grams of plain flour. We just get it in here. It's regular, I just use Lidl's own stuff, so it's always nice and cheap. Shouldn't keep saying that, but anyway, it's the best value that I can find. 25 grams of corn flour. Just put them all on top of the sieve straight away, and that way you've got them where you need them. 25 grams of icing sugar. Now, I had a conversation with someone last week about sugar and the evils of sugar, but you're allowed 30 grams of sugar into your daily allowance, and you're only putting 25 grams into the cake side of this. And then obviously you've got the icing then, but I mean that's going between 6, so I mean, as it goes, it's like when you make cakes it's usually equal flour and sugar, so this is really not a lot of sugar going into these. So we'll just sift these in straight off. Shouldn't take too long. It always pays actually to sieve things if you can, because as you can see we're left with nice big hard pieces. So just watch your knuckles as you do this. The amount of times I've skinned my knuckles doing this, I probably shouldn't. But being as my home economics teacher instilled it into make sure your hands are clean, I don't mind doing it. So I'm going to just pop that under. We've got a nice new machine, not that it's new, but from Restart, so £5, quite delighted with it. You know me and my bargains. 125 grams of butter. Now the butter really should be nice and soft. I understand people are working on a budget, so last week I had a bash at doing these with, it was Vita d'Or, which is like a buttermilk sort of margarine type thing, and it actually worked perfectly well. So if you are kind of watching the pennies, just go with something, try and get something that's got a buttermilk in it. Straight in. Now I won't completely whisk it because it doesn't seem to do from the sides, but we'll start it off anyway. We drop vanilla essence, probably about half a teaspoonful. You're wanting them to taste of vanilla. We'll just pop this down and put it on for a second. And it really doesn't take long to come together. I'll just keep pushing it in. No point talking for a second if this was. Need to get the hang of it. Alright. We'll just finish it off by hand. Just bring it all together. Shouldn't take too long at all. Already coming, and it's all you're doing is making this into a dough, and it is quite a solid dough. So anytime that I've ever seen people making these, they tell you to put it through what I'm after, Kenny, a piping bag. I think I've tried 3 or 4 different piping bags and it doesn't work for me, so I'm just going to do it manually, do it myself. So all we're doing now is wee balls, not big ones. I'm going to just pop them onto this can. So just little balls. Like I say, you should get 12 of them to make 6 biscuity things, or I don't know what to call them. Cakes will do fine. Only I might be doing them just a wee bit big here. It is a bit messy, but hey, you need to sometimes make a mess to make things good on your fingers. This actually feels softer than the one the other day. I think it must just depend on the temperature of the butter. So I'll probably find this one will stick or something now that I'm filming it, but hey ho, it'll be fine. So Kenny will be fed up, he's been tasting them all week. This one worked, does that one work? You want to make sure you've got it right before you put it to video. A couple of these are a bit big. It's definitely stickier today, typical. What was that, dear? You've not been my 15 minutes yet, surely.
Hopefully not my pacemaker.
Shh, don't even joke. We can do without that. One of the few things that hasn't gone wrong. So far, anyway. Right, well that's us. We've got our 12, give or take the size in. Let's just grab a couple of wee bits off of a couple of bigger ones here. No finesse. Oh, I've got an odd one. Oh, jings, I'm really not doing very well then. I just need to pull some off.
If it's fluffy, take it out.
Ah, we've got no fluffies in this kitchen, I can tell you. We're not having the MP for Dumfries and Tweeddale up here, I'm afraid. Right, so, like I say, wee balls. Then, what I do, because I'm not piping them, I literally just push it down, and then fashion a wee point. The oven has to be heating at 190 degrees, so as these can just get popped straight in as soon as the oven is ready. And it's definitely stickier tonight, but that's fine. They won't look very good just now, but I promise you they'll look fine once they're cooked, and they'll taste even better. That's going to be that's the culprit, that's the big one. In fact, we'll just take a bit of that off that and do it again. So just press them down, fashion them round. You'll see why you're doing this later. It's literally just to give them a wee bit of shape. This actually, if you were adding just a touch more flour to it, this would make a lovely biscuit as well. I'm saying I add a wee bit more flour just purely for the stickiness, so as you could roll it. But I would imagine just an extra 5 grams or so of flour, and this will give you a lovely biscuit as well. And then what we do now, literally into the oven for 15 minutes, and we'll come back then in 15 minutes and see what like they are then. Okay, moment of truth. I've come back and checked these just after 13 minutes, so they are actually perfectly well done already. So although I said 15 minutes, it is worthwhile double checking just after 30 minutes or so. The butter ones don't seem to take quite as long to cook as the margarine ones, but also depending how flat you've made them. So we'll just pop them onto a wee cooling rack. Try not to do them so quickly that I drop them right enough. And then because I'm such a cheapskate, I keep my paper, especially if I know I'm going to be making these 2 or 3 times in 1 week. Because once, I don't know about your families, but once I've made something, it's like, oh, we'll make that again. So this piece of paper will do another 2 or 3 times anyway. So these will take maybe about 15 minutes to cool, 20 minutes to cool. So just whilst we're waiting, straight away I'll just tell you to make up your butter icing. Now I've already got some made up now. I don't have very much left, so I'm not 100% sure if it'll do all of them, but we'll have a bash. The reason I've got some left is because when I made it, I think too much really. So it's always about twice as much icing to butter. So 100 grams of icing sugar to 50 grams of butter will be more than enough, I would say, for your 12. Depends how thickly you put it on, of course. Maybe I don't do it very thickly. Touch of Madagascar vanilla in it again, just for some flavour. And jam. Wondering why this has been sitting here. This is my homemade strawberry jam. I think if we were in the Women's Institute, they probably would be telling you it should be raspberry, but anyway, I didn't make raspberry, I made strawberry. So just a good dollop. The reason I'm putting it into a separate plate is I know my one hasn't got like big lumps of strawberry in it, but just in case, just give it a quick thinning out and leaving them just to come to room temperature, just to make it a wee bit easier for spreading. And that should be plenty for doing the 6, because obviously it's 6 each side. So that's 100 grams of icing sugar, 50 grams of butter. So we drop vanilla icing, vanilla essence to get your butter icing, and then whatever flavour of jam you fancy. So leave them again. We'll come back again in about 20 minutes to finish them off. Okay, time to compile. So nice and straightforward. I just do them this kind of way just for quickness. And like I say, this part, it depends on how much of this stuff that you like. What I try and do is I pair them up so as they're kind of an equal size. Doesn't always work out like that, but hopefully tonight they'll be not too bad. I might need to scrimp a wee bit just because of the fact that I didn't make any tonight. But I can't remember now, I might be repeating myself, but certainly if you've got, when you do make it, if you've got any left over, just pop it in the freezer, in a wee bag into the freezer, and that is absolutely fine. Then, I mean, it actually only takes 20 minutes or so to defrost it then. But that 100 grams and 50 grams has made 18 of these. But like I say, I maybe don't put it on as thick as some people would like. So, strawberry bits, strawberry jam. I'm just thinking I've maybe actually just not paired them up right there. Now that I'm, oops, looking. But try not to do things like you would do normally, is like lick your fingers. Or I'll be getting a row from the cameraman. Gosh almighty me, I didn't realise he was Mr. Hygiene, proper hygiene like, until we started doing this. So it's been quite revealing. Poor man filming this and he's not very well. And that's why I chose to do this tonight, because it's done in wee dribs and drabs, so as he wasn't having to stand for any length of time. So I'm maybe not taking as much care as you will, because I'm mindful of the fact that poor Kenneth isn't feeling so hot. I think there must be a sort of virusy thing going around just now. I've heard quite a few people, in fact Fiona from the paper, she's complaining of it too, and it seems to be affecting the neck, making them very sort of weak and wobbly, fainty, and going for the neck. I'm only using these wee things because you're just needing to put them in this for balance. And a wee tip here, in case you've never thought about it, I'm putting them onto the lid of my tin, because that way you just put the tin lid on top. Make sure people know about it, because I did that a few years ago, just before we were going out. And of course, next thing I'm looking, and Kenneth has actually turned the tin the wrong way up. Cake. It was lovely. But as long as people know that you're doing it, it should be okay. So you're just wanting to stick them in for balance and hope they don't slide too much. Stay. Pop it on the side. Put them at. And I keep thinking I'm going to have one not quite right. I'll just put them to the side just now, just to stop them from slipping about the place. Oh, I'm so dying to lick my fingers. But boss man will give me a bigger house, I better not. And then just to finish them off, press them together. Quick, flick in the water onto the fingies. Clute. Good word, clute. Good Scottish word. And then sprinkling of icing sugar, a dusting I suppose is the correct terminology, over the top. And just for a change from the usual type of cooking, there we have half a dozen Viennese Whirls in probably less than half an hour or thereabouts. Hope you enjoy them. Thank you.